Hey everybody, how is everybody doing today? And welcome back for another A Conversation Live. So today I have an amazing guest. I've actually meeting her for the first time myself, and I've followed her ever since I've seen her on Undercover Boss and her story, and I think it's amazing about mindset and inspirational and motivational, and I thought I would bring this live to everybody, and she's agreed to come on. I hope everybody enjoys it. And for those that are watching that may not know me, my name is Robert C. Stern. I have a company called The Social Leader. I train and consult in social media. But I like to bring on guests that can possibly help people in their aspect of business. So I want to bring on, in 2015, they were on Undercover Boss. She is in Nashville, Tennessee. She started her own business when she was younger, moved on for a singing career, and then created delicious cupcakes that is now flying all over the world. So without any ado, I want to bring on Gigi Butler. Gigi.
I'm here. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's good to be here.
It is. And I hope everything's good down in Nashville. I know you've been traveling a little bit.
Wonderful. I'm back in town, and it's always good when I'm flying in on the plane and I see home. It's like, I'm home. There's a lot of beautiful places in the world, but it's always good to come home.
That's true. So I reached out to you because, I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of the show Undercover Boss, and I saw your story and everything, and I bring people on as you've heard and everything. And your story, just the idea that you took the chance, and we're going to go over a lot of the chances you took because there were many of them.
Right.
So just to give a brief history, before everything you did prior to opening up Gigi's, because I know you had a cleaning business. I think it was in California.
Yes, that's correct.
So just to get an idea about your life leading up to Gigi's.
Okay. Well, a brief little summary of that. At 7 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a country music singer-songwriter and moved to Nashville. And I announced that over dinner with my family. And I'm like, I'm going to move to Nashville, be a country music singer-songwriter, just FYI. And they're like, okay, you have no musical background, but go for it. So it was very strong in my mind. Like that was all I wanted to do. My blinders were on. And at 15, I saw my dad be an entrepreneur. He had a very entrepreneurial spirit. So at 15, I decided I'm going to start my own business. I'm not going to work for anyone else. I've got to do my own thing. But at 15, you don't really have any means I didn't even have a car. But I went ahead and bought some mops and buckets and cleaning supplies and knocked on doors at an assisted living place in my hometown. And that was the birth of Gigi's Cupcakes. Of Gigi's Cleaning Company, sorry. And so was cleaning during the day. And then I started my first band at 18. And we sang all over biker bars, old, assisted living homes, VFW halls, fairs, anywhere they would let me sing, I would. And it was very clear to me that it was time to move to Nashville. So at 19, on my second semester of college, I told my dad I really want to take that money and make a demo. So I made a demo and moved to Nashville. I knew no one, didn't have a place to live, didn't have a job, only had $500 to my name. But I knew if my dream was going to become a reality, I had to go for it. I had to at least try because I was never going to get anywhere without taking that step of faith and that leap. And moved to Nashville. My first job was in Red Lobster of all places and waited tables. But it's so funny because that's where I met so many music people. I waited on George Jones, the Judds, Tim McGraw, and lots of people. And I also built up my cleaning business from the referrals from the Red Lobster customers. So I was singing down at night at Tootsie's and the stage and just working hard and singing in lots of parts of the world and doing demos and writers' nights and still cleaning during the day. So we would clean during the day, and it was flexible enough that if I had to go out of town for a gig, I would, clean 3 houses one day. And so it worked out well. So I was cleaning during the day and singing at night. What I found myself also doing was working and cleaning for very high profile executives, doctors, lawyers, people in the music industry, pharmaceutical reps. And even though I would be cleaning for them, I remember, talking to this genius businessman. He said, "Come here, Gigi, let me tell you why I'm doing this. Let me tell you why I'm buying these shares today on the stock market." And so I may not have been going to business school, but I was learning business, just cleaning his desk, wiping down his computer. So I also learned through cleaning for Taylor Swift and Leanne Rimes and tons of people in the music industry that you have to have your shtick. You have to have something that's different about you. So I was also singing, but at age 30, 31, it was like I knew that it was time to give it up and to recreate myself in some way. But what was I going to do? Here I was. At this point, I felt like a really low point in my life. I was a broken down country singer with no future, no career, no college education, and no money. So how am I going to recreate myself? What can I do to survive and make money for myself? So I decided to expand my cleaning business. And I bought books and CDs about self-help and about business and how to better myself as a person and a business person. So I started reading okay, so in my attitude of why me, I just have to clean houses, turned into why not me? If I'm just going to clean houses, then I'm going to have the best cleaning business in Nashville, period. So hired some girls, expanded my cleaning business, and I was finally content, bought a house and paid off my bills. I was financially secure, great credit, and I was at peace. So do you want me to go on to what happened with Gigi's, or would you like to ask some questions before that?
Well, it's interesting that well, the first part I thought was really interesting was, here you are working at Red Lobster.
Right.
And you're talking with these country music stars, and it just shows they go to normal places too. They don't only go to the high-end places. Right.
They go, and at that time, Franklin, Cool Springs, it was really small. So all the stars that lived in the Franklin or Brentwood area would come to these 3 little restaurants. There were Macaroni Grill, Red Lobster, and J. Alexander's were the only 3. So all the stars just came there. And even to this day, you could come to Nashville and see, tons of stars. Oh, well, there's Vince Gill. Oh, hey, there's Keith Urban. Because they all live here, and people just let them be, and it's not like this paparazzi in LA. It's very laid back, and people respect their space, and it's a nice thing. It's a great town for that.
So here you have this cleaning business, and it's paying the bills.
Right.
It's doing building up, and now you go from cleaning to all of a sudden your brother, I know, is involved with this. All of a sudden you're making cupcakes. So what changed that you said, all right, I'm gonna stop this and go this way?
How did I go from cleaning toilets to being the queen of cake? How did I? Let me tell you. It was an interesting 8 years, I'll tell you. So I remember September 2007, my brother went to New York City and stood in line at a cupcake shop. And he called me for 2 hours, and he's like, you gotta open a cupcake shop in Nashville. And I was like, what? Now, the backstory about that no one knows is that my great-great grandmother opened her first bakery in Oklahoma in the turn of the century. So baking is completely in my blood. My great aunts bake, my mother bakes, my grandmother's bake, everyone in our family bakes. I just didn't know that I would one day be baking for a living. But that's the beauty of life, of recreating yourself, because you don't know what's out of the other bin. If you really what if? Instead of what if, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not try it? What if I don't want to sit on my porch when I'm 90 years old and in my rocking chair, God, hopefully I'll get to that age, and go, what if I would have done that? What if I would have tried? I'm going to go. I'm so glad I just went for it. You know, I wore out instead of rusted out, right?
Right.
So going from, my brother said, you know, you should open a cupcake shop, to looking in the bathroom. I was in a bathroom cleaning. I had my little pink cleaning gloves on at the time. I literally had little pink cleaning gloves on. And I said, why not? Why not try? So I proudly strolled into my bank, September 2007. I'm like, well, I've been in business almost 20 years at the time because I started my cleaning business at 15.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, and they laughed in my face. They clearly didn't see my vision. I don't understand why they didn't, but they're like, honey, darling, now, no, cupcakes, no. And I'm like, what? So I went to 4 banks and they all laughed in my face, literally. And
who's laughing now?
Who's laughing now, right? And they all, hey, we want your business. Really? Well, how interesting. I found a bank that believes in me. Thank you very much. No, I'm not trying to be bitter. But so I went ahead and took out $100,000 cash advances on my credit cards and went for it. Yeah, went for it because I had great credit. So here is tip number 1. You must have great credit to succeed in life. If you're a teenager, if you're in your, whenever you start building your credit. Because if you do not have good credit, you cannot build a company, period. I mean, maybe someone's done it, but I don't know. So that's my tip. Have good credit. Work on building great credit. Because
before you go on, knowing you were going to max out your credit cards up to $100,000, how long in your mindset did it take you to say, okay, I'm going to do this? Or were you struggling for a little bit with that?
No, I didn't have another option. Now, do I recommend that to people? Absolutely not. That's not the Dave Ramsey way. Sure. Don't do what I did. Go to college and, you know, please go to college. Don't drop out of college and don't max your credit cards out for a business. That being said, that was my only option. And I was so dedicated to this dream that I had to see it through. So this was my only option. This is the only way I could have done it. But I don't recommend that to anybody. So
it's a big risk.
It's a huge risk and it's very scary. I was scared to death, but I fought through the fear. You know, I'm like, no, I'll be more afraid for not trying. So.
But I'm sure there were moments, even after you maxed it out, you probably were second guessing yourself.
Yeah, every day. I was like, what am I doing? What am I going to do with it? I mean, what am I doing? Because I really, literally did not know what I was doing. But the good thing about it, though, is that I had a lineage, a heritage of bakers, of baking, of recipes. So I took all of my past and all of my past history. That's why a Gigi's cupcake is so special, because it's not just some cupcake. It's actually my great Aunt Ruby's recipe from Texas called the Texas milk chocolate. And I made it it's a Texas sheet cake, and I made it into a chocolate cupcake and put a Texas fondant star on it. So they're baked with love because it's my past. It's my passion. It's my life. So I think people can taste that when they're eating a Gigi's cupcake. They experience that. They experience the love.
Mm-hmm. So you max out your cards and you found this great little location. I think it was right on Music Row.
Right. So I went to the first place I saw, and I honestly had an outer body experience. I had an outer body experience. I was with one of my friends and my brother at the time, my other brother, who was just here on vacation. And I said, this is it. I see myself going into this building. I literally had an outer body experience of seeing myself serving cupcakes in this little building and seeing people come in. I said, this place is it. And they're like, no. We got to find a real estate agent. We needed it. I'm like, no, this is it. You don't understand. This is the place I have to be. So they're like, okay. I mean, everyone thought I was just crazy.
Nuts.
And they probably still think I did, but that's okay. I mean, life is about taking chances and being crazy and thinking outside the box. So then I got the little phone number off the building, and I called Alan Thompson, who was the property owner. And I said, I want to lease your building. And he's like, for cupcakes? Are you kidding me? he clearly didn't see my vision either. So I badgered him for 2 months, and finally he relented and released me and leased me the perfect space. And while I was building out, I told all my cleaning, because I had 75 cleaning clients at the time, and I said, I'm going to make a cupcake shop. And they're like, oh, bless her heart, what is she doing? And although they loved my baking, because I've always baked for them, I baked my breads for them, my cookies, my pies, but they felt sorry for me because they're like, oh, I hope she didn't quit her day job. What is she doing? So they would feel sorry for me, and so they would order cupcakes. Or, oh, we'll take a dozen to our clients, or I'll take a dozen to the studio, or I'll take a dozen to wherever, my doctor's office. So I cleaned houses, and then at night I started baking about 12 dozen cupcakes at night in my home, because I was figuring out what was going to go on here, what chocolate recipe was going to go with this frosting, and I was starting to name and develop, along with my mom, she really helped me, name and develop all my works of art. And each cupcake has their own personality, their own beauty, Scarlet's Red Velvet, or our Hunka Chunka Banana Love, or our Midnight Magic Chocolate Chip. They have their own personality. So I wanted them to have their own thing. So it's not just a cupcake, it's, hello, I'm chocolate chip cookie dough, here I am, I'm fabulous. So it was important for me to create something that would really have a lasting impression when people ate it and people saw it. Because people eat with their eyes also. So I wanted beautiful works of art. So that's leading up until I opened. Would you like to?
Yeah, so this is the big part that blew my mind. You're coming up to opening day. It's one shop.
Right.
It's all or nothing. And you look at your bank book and you have
$33 left in my name.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't know how I was going to pay my mortgage the next month. I didn't know how I was going to feed myself. Like literally $33 left in my name. And all my clients, all my business clients are very savvy. You have to have a marketing plan. You've got to have, I have $33. So my marketing plan is opening my doors. They're like, you are crazy. I'm like, I know.
But it wasn't just the $33 that I heard about. It was the Friday before you opened, you found another bill.
It was February 21st, 2008. And I had just cleaned 3 houses to pay the plumber who was coming. Excuse me. I might have to pause and go get my water.
That's okay.
But let me know if I can do that and when I can do that.
If you need to, go ahead.
Really?
Go ahead.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
You got it. Don't worry. I'll talk to everybody.
I'll be right back.
So for those that are watching and joining in, Gigi Butler just stepped out for a second. She's okay. She just needs to get something. We are talking with Gigi Butler from Gigi's Cupcakes, CEO and founder. And we're hearing her story about how she started and leading up to opening day, which she will return and tell you about. She opened up her bank book to start and open up, and it was literally $33 left in the bank. And this is opening the doors and getting ready, not knowing where she's going to be paying her mortgage, not knowing where she's going to be paying any of her employees, all the things that were involved. And when she gets back, we're going to go on to the next part. And Gigi's opens up, and what happens there is just unbelievable. So, and if you do have questions, don't be afraid. Put your question in the comments, and then this way we can answer them up. We do have some questions that were sent in ahead of time, and we'll be able to do those things. We hope everybody's enjoying this.
Okay.
And there she is. She's back.
Sorry. I have my pink Gigi's.
There you go. Everything's pink and Gigi.
Oh, I got a cough drop. I've had a cough for about a week now. So.
Oh, okay. Nothing a sweet cupcake can't handle.
That's true. Okay.
Like you were saying, you worked the 3 clients, you gained enough money to go pay the plumber on Friday, and then...
Right. So I had $33 left after I paid the plumber, and the contractor came in and said, I forgot a bill. I was like, well, I have $33. I can't pay it. What is it? He's like, it's a $15,000 drywall bill. And I literally melted. My first and only breakdown was February 20th, 2008. Melted on the floor. And my parents came to me because they were there cleaning, and my dad was putting chairs together. And they're like, God's going to take care of you. I'm like, how is he going to take, what am I going to do? Because I had 1 week to pay a $4,500 rent that I've never paid in my life, a $1,000 food bill, and $1,000 for employees. And I had $33 and 1 week to do that. What was the answer? The only thing that got me up the next morning out of that bed was tenacity. I think I've been blessed with gifts, but God really gave me a gift of tenacity. Excuse me.
That's okay.
I apologize.
No, it's fine.
How can you not? I mean, I have to cough. It's horrible.
It happens. This is what's great about live. It's real.
Well, it's real today. I apologize.
But you know what? The first part, when I heard that story, I was like, how does a construction guy forget a $15,000 bill?
That's what I have always wondered.
$200, $400, it got mixed. $15,000? That's a big bill to forget about.
Right. Well, that backstory will probably be in the book. So the book's coming out. My life story is coming out early March of 2018.
Wonderful.
I hope everyone buys the book. Not sure what the title's going to be yet, but I'm sure it'll have my face on it and a cupcake, so you'll know who it is.
There you go. So you get this bill, you're having your meltdown, your parents are saying you're going to do it, you woke up in the morning, you had the tenacity, as you said, to say, I'm just going to keep going forward.
Right.
You open the door.
Open the doors. In 1 week, I paid the bills for the food, the rent, and the employees in 1 week. And I had $300 left over. And the drywall bill had to pay a little bit. I had to pay that off.
Right. But is it what you expected, or was it more than what you expected?
I never thought I would make, $100 a day, let alone, what was the total? 45 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus $300. So, I never knew I could ever make in 1 week enough to pay all that. It was a miracle with just opening my doors. So when people say, oh, miracles are over, or you don't ever experience a miracle, I can honestly say I have personally experienced a miracle because I have no idea how that happened. But it happened. It happened. And from going from cleaning houses, I didn't stop cleaning houses until I had 13 stores open. So from the first
store, you had the first store open and you were still doing the cleaning business at the same time.
Yeah, so I would go in the morning until I found a steady baker to come early. I would go in there, train the baker. I get up at 4:30. I didn't have a child at the time. So I get up at 4:30, go and bake, get everything ready for the day, frost, and then go clean 2 houses. And then go check on my girls that were also cleaning houses, and then come back to the shop and close the shop. So that was my life for about a year. And then all during this was happening, I decided to franchise the concept.
Yeah,
so
I wanted to touch that for a bit, but I want to go back one part, because with the tenacity and maxing out your credit cards to open the stores. So, one of the things I always explain to people in business and everything, how important mindset is in your business.
Right.
And you're living proof right now that maxing out your credit cards, which we both don't recommend anybody to do, but people do it.
It was my option.
Believing in yourself, risking, it all for your business, believing it in yourself, that this is going to work. This is going to be my pipe, my dream and everything that I want to do with it. And how keeping that mindset focused. How hard was that for you at times?
It was Very hard. I mean, I remember the night before I opened, I was petrified, scared to death, lying in my bed, of course not being able to sleep, in a fetal position, crying, going, God, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? I mean, I was scared to death. And the first time I opened another store, I was scared to death. And then it's not like I haven't been scared. I'm scared every day. It's that I fight that fear and I just go for it anyways. That's the difference between people that succeed and people that just sit around and don't. It's that they just fight the fear. They go for it. They learn how to recreate themselves. So it's all about just recreating yourselves, not feeling like a failure, but say, oh, that life path wasn't the right path, but let's do a life path change, and just finding a different path. Life is about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself every day.
And how important do you feel is risk? I mean, because, you took your risk. I've taken my risks in business. I gave up a good real estate career to basically start a social media company when people didn't believe in it that much 6 years ago. Right. And now it's the biggest thing in the world. Right. And knowing you're going to risk everything, but there's always that mindset, going back to those words, that you're going to have that second thought. And I have a friend, Coach Jenny, who wrote a book called Hilda, and it's about the person inside you always second guessing you. She calls her Hilda. And it's always saying, you're going to fail. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And it's inside your mind fighting everything you're going to do. And it's, how did you overcome your, I'll use Coach Jenny's Hilda inside you?
Well, maybe there's a Hilda, but there's also a hero. Maybe the hero inside you is saying, you can do this, you can do this, you can be whatever you want to be. So there's also a Hilda, but there's also a hero. So maybe people should tune into more of their hero, their hero inside. People, the good stuff that people should believe about themselves. And I don't think that we believe enough good about ourselves. I think negative is so easy. We hear so much of it during the day, and everyone pounds it, into us, that I don't think the hero or your self-conscious or your Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call, I don't think that's heard enough. So what if you really just did have the hero talk all the time? Say, yeah, no, I'm not listening to you, Hilda. Go away, because you are not a part of my life. You're not a part of my vocabulary. So you can just scat.
I'm going to have to send you her book, because it's really a good book. It's about what you're talking about, how overcoming this and stuff.
Right. Overcoming this, beasts going, you can't do it. You're a loser. You're so worth. I mean, and doesn't everyone hear that? Everyone hears that about themselves every day.
Well, you even had it. Not necessarily in your brain, but when all the people were laughing and saying, "What are you, nuts? How could you be opening a cupcake shop? What are you, nuts? You have a business, or your family or friends, and we all go through this. When people go to change careers, or they want to start a brand new business or anything like that. The MLM people have it. Tons of people have those things where they want to do the multi-level market. And their friends are looking at them going, what are you, crazy?
Yeah. Well, I had a lot of that, though, and a lot of rejection prior, though. So I was, I'm pretty tough-shelled. There's not a lot I'm very sensitive, but there's not a lot that affects me anymore because I've had so much rejection in my life. When you're in the music industry, and every day of your life, you're told, no, 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 you stink, no, get better, no, 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 lose weight, no, you're ugly, no, 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 I don't want to book you, no this, no this. So from 7 till, because I started music lessons, and I've had so much rejection that it doesn't really faze me anymore. It's like, you're rejecting me, you don't think I'm cool. Well, I don't really care what you think, because I've heard this before, and guess what? I succeeded anyways. So I'm not going to listen to you. But I've had so much rejection. I mean, you can't, more probably than anybody in the world that's had. I mean, you don't even know, but you'll know in the book. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to read my book. You'll know about all the rejection and all the people that have said no to me and pushed me away and closed the door in my face. So by the time I was 30, 31, ready to do the cupcake shop, people saying I'm crazy. Oh, well, yeah, I'm crazy. I moved to Nashville, didn't have any money. God took care of me then. You know, he provided for me. I'm going to do this cupcake shop. He'll provide for me. So yeah, I'm crazy. Okay. Exactly. But I'm going to go ahead and go for it. Yeah.
Now, your first year, we were talking a little bit. You opened the store. It started flourishing like crazy. It was opened. Nashville opened up their arms to you going, oh, my God, I love these things.
Oh, they did. Nashville has been so supportive and so kind to me. And I write my Music Row, so a lot of the people that that I used to sing for or sing with, or they would be like, "Oh, Gigi opened a cupcake shop. That's a sweet thing. Let's go get her. Let's go get some cupcakes and support her." So I am a huge fan of Nashville because successful because they believed in me too. So I just have such a grateful heart for Nashville and supporting me. I love Nashville.
So the first year comes, you're doing a great business,
right?
And then all of a sudden, you decide to franchise.
Crazy!
I mean, just so everybody watching this, don't do what Gigi's doing. She maxed out her card. She did all the things that everybody tells you not to do. But on the other side of the coin, it worked.
You know, now that I'm talking this through, I am really crazy. What is wrong with me?
So you went right into, I have one shop, and I'm going to franchise out.
Well, what happened, there was a series of events that happened. So in my first month that I opened, I had lines of doors, lines out the door. And a lady came in and wanted my Scarlet's Red Velvet. So she waited in line. It was in the evening, and I didn't have a menu set at the time. And she said, I'd like your Scarlet's Red Velvet. And I'm like, oh, I didn't make that today. I'm so sorry. She's like, what? I mean, she's freaking out. And, ooh, I like that. That's our chocolate.
Oh, wait, I was trying to get the scar. I have actually a
red
picture.
One with the red. You have a picture of it. I saw it.
Yeah, let me put up the Scarlet one so people know what we're talking about.
In a white chocolate.
Here it is.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's the Scarlet, everybody.
That's my baby. That is my southern little, I named that because it's so southern. Scarlet's Red Velvet is so southern that I had to name it after Scarlet, like Red Butler. And so that's how that became that. So she's like, I'd like your Scarlet's Red Velvet, please. And I said, oh, I don't have it. What? She's freaking yelling at me, like cussing at me. And there's a line of people, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. So most people, after I helped make her happy, in spite of that not having the red velvet, most people would have gone in the back of the kitchen and cried. I went in the back of the kitchen. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Someone is yelling at me and cussing at me over a cupcake? Are you kidding me? I think I have something special here. I mean, my light bulb, it was this, oh my gosh, if people are this passionate about my cupcakes, maybe I have something here. Also, people from all across the country, Indianapolis, for instance, I was in the back frosting and I got flour all over me and cupcakes and he said, I want to talk to the owner. So I come out and there's a line out the door. He goes, I want a Gigi's in Indianapolis. I'm like, what? There's only one Gigi. What are you talking about? No, I want one. How do I get one? I'm like, well, this is it. I'm me. I don't know what you're talking about. But about 4 or 5 other people across the country did the same thing. And I was like, wait a minute. This might be able. And then a week later, my landlord, who had franchise experience and was great with properties and rental properties and everything, said, you should franchise this concept. And I'm like, well, let me read about it because I'm an avid reader. And I was like, let me see if that's for me. Because now remember, I don't have a stock of $250 million in the back with a silver spoon or a hedge fund or a trust. I've got $33. So I was like, okay, this is for me. Because I really wanted to get the brand out quick. And an easy way, not an easy way, no, it's never been easy, but a good way is to franchise so you could get your name and your product out quicker than if you didn't have a hedge fund and you can't do corporate stores. So I chose to do franchising. And we had We had 9 stores at the end of 2009. No, yeah. The end of 2009, we had 9 stores open. 2010.
So in under 2 years of business, you had your store and 8 franchises.
8 franchises. 3 company stores and 8 franchises. No, 7, whatever.
3 company and 6 franchises.
Yeah. And the 2010, we had 32 stores. 2011, we had 67 stores. I mean, it just was like, boom, my life. And I didn't stop my cleaning business until I had 13 stores open. Most people don't know that. I mean, I didn't want to give my baby business up. This was my baby. This was my life. And they're like, you got to let go.
Provided for you. It provided for you until you were 32 years old.
Yeah. So it was time, but it's very hard to let go. And I think another great business lesson is learning when to let go and let someone else help you grow your business, or someone else take the next step with you. Because if it's all you and it's just mine, like the little miser, will you be able to grow? I don't think so. I don't think you can, especially in a franchise business. So
what point when you started franchising were you bringing in a level of people to help, let's say at the corporate level, because now you have people across the nation, there's the, when you're franchising, there's the fees and the royalties and you have to send things. And so now you're bringing in a corporate level of people besides your stores that you're actually baking.
Right. So we added, Alan came on corporately, and my dad helped us with the stores originally, helped with all the build outs. My brother Randall came on as the COO and helped build the stores up to, I think, up to 65 stores with him. And so then we found a great website people that helped build our brand, helped build that. That was very important. We hired that. And it was also very important for me to be branded well. So my 3 favorite brands of all time are Martha Stewart, Tiffany's, and Victoria's Secret. We all sell different things, but when you see that robin egg blue box coming down the street, you subconsciously want what's in there. So I wanted someone, when I'm carrying my little Gigi's box, I want someone to subconsciously know there's an amazing little gift in there. So being branded well, designing the boxes were so important. I was so focused on that. I mean, that was our main priority, and it cost so much money to do that. We had to, I took $26,000 that I had saved 3 months after I opened Gigi's and started Gigi's franchising, because I was still cleaning at the time. So it's like, here we go. Oh, 6 months. About 6 months. It's like, okay. And my partner, he's like, well, we need a hedge fund. We need, some people to invest. I'm like, no. If I could do it off $33, we could do Gigi's franchising off $26,000. Let's go. So that's how we built it.
That's fantastic. So now a couple of years go by. You're building the storm. You have all these franchises, and along comes 2007 or 8.
You mean?
And I guess you got approached by the people at Undercover Boss.
Oh, 2010, 11, no. 2000.
Oh, no, that's right. It was 2015 it aired, so it was probably 2014 you were approached or something. And what made you turn and say, okay?
Well, at first I was scared to death. First of all, I was like, no, we can't afford that, because, you have to, that company, you pay all the gifts. The show doesn't pay those gifts, the company does. So a gift of $180,000, that's a lot for a small company. So I was like, no, we can't afford it. No, I'm too small. I have my name's on the building. My face is in the doorway. My voice is on our radio. I said, there's no way that they're not going to know who it is. But they came back about 2 years later, or no, not even 2 years, 4 months later, said, we really want you. I'm like, oh, okay. I prayed about it because I was really scared. First of all, I don't know how to act. I'm not an actress. And you have to literally act like it's not you. How do you act like you're not you if you're not a trained actress? And then you're scared to death because you're nervous because you know they're going to find out. And then you have to act clueless. And then you have to control your temper when you know they're doing things wrong.
You mean kind of like the dab?
Yeah, the stacking, not swirling. Yeah. And he was the sweetest thing. I just adore him. And I actually, all of the people on there, what I found out is everyone is so passionate about the brand. They love the brand. They love that they can start their lives and recreate, and they saw that I did it. And so it was great for that. The hardest things I've ever done in my life, and these are not is birthing a company, birthing a child, going on Undercover Boss, and selling the franchise part to equity. I mean, those are the 4 hardest things I've ever done in my life. So Undercover Boss was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But was it rewarding? Absolutely.
What's the biggest takeaway you got from being on Undercover Boss that changed the way you did business prior to it?
Okay, great. 2 things. My takeaway was I couldn't believe how many passionate, wonderful people we have that work for us that I had never met, because I don't know everyone that works for the company. I go out and I socialize and I go to different stores, but I don't know every employee. So that was one. And number 2, I got off the road and I told our corporate office, I said, we are consistently inconsistent. If we are going to grow this brand, we have to get funding, we have to build our infrastructure, and we have to have more support for consistency. So I think that was the takeaway. We were consistently inconsistent. And if you're going to be a franchise company and you're going to build and you're going to succeed, you have to become consistent or you're done. You're dead.
Now, how do you, because this is the other side of the coin, is you travel around, I know this, from following you on your Facebook page and everything, and you go to the different stores, whether it's Dallas or Cincinnati. I think you were recently over
in Dallas yesterday, so yeah.
Yeah, but I know you were in Cincinnati, I think, a few weeks ago or something. It was you travel around and you hit the different stores. Do you see yourself, when you see the employees, differently talking with them than before the show? Because now it's like you take a different aspect of meeting these people, hearing the stories behind the thing, right, and how passionate they are about it.
I think so. I think I had a newfound love for what we have built, and that people love what we do. And the people that we hire, they love Gigi's Cupcakes. They love the dream. They love the cupcakes. They love what it's all about. They love their job. So when I go into where, I've traveled all over the country this last 2 months. I've been on the road, and I just love the people that work for us. I truly adore them. They have so much energy, so much passion. They care. They show me their pictures of their cakes they make, because we do cakes too now. And most of our stores, we all do wedding cakes. They do bachelor cakes. They do bachelorette, tons of stuff. So they love to show me their cakes, which is great. Go, oh, come show. I got to show you my cake I did today. And I always go, oh, I love it. It's a work of art. It's fabulous. And then we take pictures together. And it's just a wonderful thing. I love what I do. I love being a part of an American dream. And actually, a dream finally did come true for me. So it's so great. I love it.
That's great. That's great. I see we got a question from, I actually know Chitra Durgan. She's actually in Jersey out by me.
Okay.
How did you, and we talked a little bit about it earlier, but I guess for her side, she's like, how do you develop your business skills? I mean, you discussed a little bit earlier.
Okay. First of all, I would go to college and go to a business college, and they can teach you that. I personally didn't have that opportunity. Unfortunately, I might go back and get my business degree. But if you're going to just be on the field, I started my business skills at 15, negotiating with cleaning clients. I also did commercial cleaning, so I would negotiate with the contractors, and I'd come up to the job site, and they'd say, "Hey, little lady, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "I'd like to clean your building." Oh, and so I had negotiating with that. I also had to learn how to negotiate with bar owners. So they're wanting me to sing for $300 a night when I know I could have gotten $500 a month, And then I have to also negotiate and pay and be around musicians who I had to pay. You're just a little chick singer. No, I'm paying your bills tonight. So you'll do this song. Thank you very much. And it took me a long time to learn to do that. So I think just life experience is the best business skills you can learn. Also, get into books. Read about how The Noticer is a great book by Andy Andrews. E-Myth Theory is probably one of the best books I've ever read by Michael Gerber. It is an amazing story on how to grow your business and how to be a better business person. So if you don't have that degree, well, learn. Go get books about it. Go get books about how to be a better conversationalist and how to notice people and treat people like you'd want to be treated. And that's the best business skill you could ever learn.
She's agreeing with you. E-Myth is great. So Chitra's actually a dentist.
Oh, great. Awesome.
But she's getting into more public speaking because she's very into social media and looking at other avenues. So,
well, it's all about, having bedside manner, being a dentist, and catering to your clients, catering to your patients, offering them, blankets. And if we go into the dentist industry, how do you become a better business person with being a dentist? Customer service, customer service, customer service. Treat them fabulous, like they're superstars when they come in, and they will never leave you.
So now I had put up a post a couple days ago about if there were any questions that people wanted to ask if they couldn't watch it live and stuff. So I saw this and I had to put it up. So what is the weirdest thing you have ever put in a cupcake?
Well, that we've created in a cupcake. We created a green tea and ginger cupcake about 3 years ago. And it was just not in its time. People are like, green tea and ginger, what? And so that's probably one of the weirdest cupcakes we've done, although now green tea and ginger is the thing. We did a chai cupcake before the time of chai, and people were like, what is chai? So I think that's probably the weirdest thing. We've done a root beer float. We've done a watermelon. We have a great slushy cupcake that's just fabulous. So we've done a lot.
That's great
Cupcakes.
Another question, more business oriented. How many years did you anticipate until you would break even or start turning a profit versus the reality?
Well, I had a great business plan made out when I went to my landlord, and it looked like if I sold 200 cupcakes a day, 6 days a week or 7 days a week with my food cost, that I would make about $50,000 a year profit. And I started breaking even, and I paid for that whole business in a year, less than a year. I paid that off. So it was a little bit better than what I had planned for, but I did plan for that. And it was going to be about $50,000 a year I could break net.
That's great. I mean, it's always better when you achieve your goals faster than you thought you were going to, but it's not always how it happens.
No.
So now you are approximately, I remember it was 24 states, I think 90 stores presently. Mm-hmm. Any expansion plans, growth for the future? I mean, what's going to be happening for the second half in 2018? Are you seeing a store in every state or more? Or
well, expansion we're set to build and open 20 stores this year, which is great. So we're really
Jersey?
excited. No, not Jersey. Not going to be getting into Jersey.
Killing me.
That's a backstory. So probably won't go to Jersey, but we're going to be in to 20 stores, and then we're hoping to rev up and start 35 stores a year after that. But this year we're set to 20. Personally, I'm writing a book, and it's due March of 2018. And I also would love to do a cooking show. And I would also love to get my cookbook published, which I've already written. And we'll see. I don't know. I have a 6-year-old. I'm a single mom. So being with her and her activities is my first number one love. And so we'll see.
Okay. Leah Finley happens to be one of my clients. She accepts samples, but she is in Canada.
Oh, she's in Canada. Well, we do have fans in Canada. They come down and they visit our Fargo, North Dakota store a lot because I think we're real close to the Canada border up there. So if she lives near Fargo, North Dakota, she could come down and definitely have some samples. We're hoping to franchise to Canada soon, though.
Oh, you might?
Yes, that's on the horizon. Yes, I love.
Now, do you ever do it where people can call in and have things delivered out of state?
We're not at that point yet. We could deliver our cookies or our bread loaves because they ship easy. But our cupcakes are so tall and there's so much frosting on them. We haven't figured the art of shipping yet. So
okay. That makes sense because you don't want to get a cookie. You don't want to get a flat cupcake. You know,
we want them to be beautiful, and so we haven't mastered that yet.
I can totally relate to that. Well, if anybody wants to know if there is a store near you, they can go to. I put the website up. It's gigiscupcakesusa.com.
Yes, USA.com, or you can socialize with me on official Gigi Butler on Instagram and official Gigi Butler on my Facebook, and then gigibutler.com, gigibutler.com.
I know you got to get going, but the question I want to ask you before you get off is, how do you see social media in building your brand today?
Oh, it's huge. Social media has built our business. I mean, truly built our business. Because we've developed a cult following that love Gigi's Cupcakes, and we've marketed well. We could get better, but I think it's a huge component to being successf in our time and day. I mean, if you're not on social media, you're in the Stone Ages. Get out of your rock, crawl out from under that rock, and I've actually crawled out from under the rock. So I can say I haven't been real social media savvy personally myself, but this year I took it to the next level. So I am official Gigi Butler on Instagram and Facebook.
Well, Gigi, I want to thank you because I know you got to go do some things for joining me for this. I know it's going to be extremely helpful for so many people that are watching live and also the people that are going to be watching this on the replay.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time. I'm sorry for the coughing session, but I hope that everyone looked through past that.
Definitely, but definitely go check out Gigi's Cupcakes, see if there's one near you, and hopefully I will get to Nashville and I will be able to try one that's local down there. I would love to give you a personal tour of the original baby store and give you a personal cupcake that I made myself. Oh, now I got to take the trip. All right, so, folks, I thank everybody for joining in. And we will see you on the next Conversation Live next week with our special guest, Abang Eka, who is a TEDx speaker, and we'll be talking pricing strategy. So till then, just keep being social. Talk to you soon.